Welcome to episode 50 of Powered by Her. Woohoo! We are celebrating here at Creekville Creative with our 50th episode. I'm really excited to have made it this far. So thank you to Eye Centers of Tennessee for their partnership with Powered by Her. You can check out your frames that you need to get or eye exams at Eye Centers of Tennessee, located throughout the Upper Cumberland. Today, in honor of our 50th episode, we wanted to do something a little special. So I have Ashley Michael here, who is a coworker of mine at the Biz Foundry. I'm Tiffany Anton from the Biz Foundry, in case we don't know that yet. Ashley and I worked on Start Here magazine a few years ago. And she kind of got suckered into some Biz Foundry stuff. And so she's not necessarily our special guest today. She's going to be our guest host, first time ever guest host on Powered by Her. So I get to sit on the orange couch. We're going to do a little swapperoo.
Woo!
And then, it's kind of nice over here. So.
Thanks for having me as your not special guest.
My not special. You're special. I mean, you're special.
I'm really excited. 50 episodes. I cannot believe it. Because I remember when this was all coming about anyway, Powered by Her. And just, it really kind of started with the ladies' lunches and then just spun into all this stuff. So before
I
we
didn't know
get into
I
all
was like a super into women. Not in that way, but I didn't know I was like so, I don't know. Feminist seems like can be
yeah.
I don't know. That's a controversial word, so I don't want to say that. But I didn't know I was into strong women until all this, I think.
Yeah. No, I think, well, yes. So first, before we get into all that, yeah, maybe take us back a little bit. Tell us a little bit about yourself. You're Tiffany Anton with the Biz Foundry.
I'm Tiffany Anton with the Biz Foundry.
And how you got into working with the Biz Foundry, and then maybe we can kind of look at how this has sort of evolved into this awesome podcast.
It's kind of a crazy journey when I kind of think about it. It's this warm, sunny July day in Minnesota. I was born, probably screaming into the world.
Probably.
Something super extra and all that kind of stuff. But so I grew up in Michigan. My family's from there, and so grew up in Michigan. And I really thought I always wanted to be a high school teacher. Like I am super passionate, and so I was really into math and science. I was a nerd in school, and so I thought I was going to I really wanted to go away to school, I think. So I went 8 hours from home, Michigan Tech, in the middle of nowhere, Upper Peninsula, Michigan. Small little school. And at first I tried to pretend I was going to be an engineer, which was not going to happen. And so I just decided I was going to teach high school, and I did that. I had moved to Virginia, and I did that for 5 years, and I loved it. I loved everything about teaching. I loved the students. I was so passionate about it. I had challenging classes.
I feel like that from what I know of you, and we are pretty good friends, I feel like that is a common connecting thing in your life is I think you do love people, and you love like being with people and helping people like become what they are, so that I can totally see you as a great teacher.
Yeah, well, and I remember after my first year teaching, I came back and I had all of the lowest level classes, like the most difficult, challenging students.
Right.
And I was like, am I a bad teacher? Like, why are you giving me the terrible, the most challenging students not terrible, in case any of my students listen to this. But I was like really questioning my value, and my department head said, you're actually really good at that. Cool. So we give you these students because we know you can connect with them. We know that you're going to, walk side by side with them and get them to where they need to be. And so it's actually a compliment. And so it's hard for me because I'm an overthinker, and I really like beat myself up on things, but so it's hard for me to be like, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. I'm supposed to be with these kids that really need me. Yeah. And it's not a diss on my teaching ability at the time. So I did that for about 5 years in Virginia. And like I said, I loved it. My sister at one point said to me, you're just lucky because you found like your dream job. And I really kind of felt like, I have, like, this is what I'm meant to do.
So you saw yourself as just like being this inspirational teacher as a career at that point?
I think I thought that was what I was going to do, because I just wasn't really thinking farther ahead, I guess. I just thought this is, I've figured out my passion in life. And so, and then when my oldest daughter was born in 2010, it kind of changed because I loved her and not my students as much anymore. So then it was kind of like I wasn't pouring into them what I was pouring into her at home. And we moved from Virginia to New Mexico at the time. And so I decided to be a stay-at-home mom with her, which was hard. That was a really hard time in my life. I had a 1-year-old and knew no one.
And it was a really small town, right?
It was. We lived in Los Alamos, New Mexico, which is like the sister city to Oak Ridge, but it's...
I don't know of any of them.
So
Sorry,
Oak Ridge,
New Mexico.
They're where it's the atomic bomb. So Oak Ridge is here in Tennessee, and they both developed the atomic bomb together. And so, but it was such a secret. So it literally is
this
just
is like your science nerdness coming out.
Yes, totally my science nerdness. I didn't know any of it until I went there, and I was like, well, this is, there was a gate to get into the city, not anymore, but when the atomic bomb was being developed.
Oh, wow.
It was... And I was like, I don't know anything about history. So I really was like, so the atomic bomb was, developed here. And I'm like, are there nuclear weapons? Like, are they still working on nuclear?
Are we going to be exposed
Yeah,
to?
Like, are there nuclear weapons hidden under our city? Like there's a lot of government secrets. There probably were, but so it was just a really tough time to kind of pivot and figure out like how to. I don't think I was meant to be a stay-at-home mom, which is hard sometimes because I think women feel that pressure that's what we're supposed to do. Right. Yeah. So,
I totally relate to that.
Yeah. So I think, you have 4 kids yourself. And so it's like how to be a good mom and still like fill your own bucket. And so I think once we moved here, I just kind of jumped in and got involved in some of the things in Cookeville of things with the kids, like helped build the playground and kind of got into social media a bit. And so I kind of joked that we're actually in the old Children's Museum building right now. And so I worked for the Children's Museum. I worked for Meal Fit. I worked with Red Silo a bit. So I worked like kind of around this area. I was like, I'm just going to take over the west side of like helping all them with their marketing.
Well, it seems like you kind of, I think whatever you get involved in, you're like, I'm going to take this and I'm going to help make it great. And I'm going to pour everything I can into it. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
I don't know. It seems like with the Biz Foundry, maybe you just found a good place where like they gave you some room to like help make it.
I don't even think I really had an idea getting into it, what I was getting into when I walked in the door. The Biz Foundry had posted a job that they were looking for somebody to do marketing or social media. I can't really remember. And I knew they had somebody that was doing their marketing. And so I thought, they must need an assistant.
Right.
And so I'll go in and I'll help them do their social media. And then I met with Jeff Brown and he said, no, she's quitting. It's you. And I was like, I don't have any background in this. I don't know. I don't have a really solid background in business. I mean, my dad was in marketing and sales for 35 years growing up. I know more about mattresses than most people.
I'm sure that's come in handy.
It's sometimes
mattress knowledge.
You spend a lot of your life sleeping. So, but it's nice to have my dad to like bounce marketing ideas and leadership ideas too. Like I've kind of put myself in or strong arm Jeff into putting me into a leadership position at the Biz Foundry. And so I don't really have a lot of training in that. And so I'm always like, am I doing it right? Am I not doing it right? How do I make this team the best we can so that we can be the best organization and move it forward? I am pretty competitive. And so that's where that, like, trying to help make it the best I can. Right. I don't know. Maybe second best isn't good enough for me a little bit.
I love it. I think it's really great. And I love that you found a place here where you can do that, because it takes somebody who, you could have taken the job and done like social media with the marketing and left it at that. And who knows what things would have looked like. But instead, it has evolved into so much, especially somehow, strangely enough, with like empowering women, which was just such good timing, I think, for our world and for our community. And so maybe we can look a little bit now at you started back to when we started the ladies' lunches. And do you remember that? Let's see, that was 2 or 3 years ago?
About 2.5 years
okay.
ago. And I think that now that I'm kind of thinking about it, I think the women's lunches maybe started in like August, and the podcast, we shot the pilot of the podcast that following December. So they kind of really went sort of hand in hand at that time. And I think maybe part of it was that, I mean, when you and I worked on the magazine together, I was going around and doing these interviews with people. And one of the interviews was with Kelly Fitzpatrick, who just, I remember it so well still.
I loved writing hers.
We were at Seven Senses, and at one point she teared up because she was looking back on her business over 7-10 years at that time. And, you know, kind of reflecting back on the team she built and all that stuff. And she teared up. And it's like, to me, she was just this powerhouse entrepreneur woman that, you know, has her product in stores all over the country.
Right.
And here's just me and her sitting down at Seven Senses, and she's tearing up. And now I have a relationship with Kelly, and she'll say, "You inspire me." And I'm like, how do I, like, how could me, you know, Tiffany Pesta Anton, you know, Pesta is my maiden name, but, you know, from that teacher, you know, 12 years ago.
Really, you don't, it's not like you have to accomplish something great or big to be inspiring. It's just being authentically who you are, I think.
Yeah.
And you have brought so much to, I think, the community and especially the women, and it's just been really cool.
See, we talked about, like, I wanted you to make me cry. And so I think with that, the lunches, we were looking for a way with the Biz Foundry to connect with some of the women that maybe didn't feel like they were so much.
Right. They wouldn't call themselves maybe entrepreneur, or they didn't feel like they had earned like some great title of, I've accomplished all this stuff, I've started some great successful business.
Yeah.
It's not about that, right?
And I think I wanted to create a community, or I wanted to be a part of fostering a community of people like Kelly Fitzpatrick, who has products all over the country, and somebody like City Girl Soaps, who's a previous guest, and Simone. You know, she's selling. She's at the downtown market here, and hopefully that they look at each other and they understand that they're the same.
Right.
We're just women trying to sell our products and get our products in the hands of people who love them. And so I think there's an intimidation factor sometimes. Well, I'm not at the level this person's at, or I'm not, you know. And I just wanted to create an environment that had us all hand in hand.
Let's all be on one team. I've heard you say that kind of thing before, and just like be in each other's corner and support each other, because it can be hard, especially, well, I don't know, maybe not especially, but as a mom myself, I can say like it's hard, you know, because you are holding a lot of different balls to juggle, and you need all the support you could get.
Yeah.
It's not easy.
Well, and I think there's so much mom support out there. There's so much, you know, maybe specific business support, which feels a little masculine. And so I think bringing the femininity to the business support was really important for me. And it's kind of opened a whole different avenue of clients for the Biz Foundry.
Yeah.
And so people who had never been in there or thought, well, you know, that's not quite where I need to be. They've felt at home there.
Yeah. Well, I think that just shows how needed it was, because we did get a ton of support right away for the ladies' lunch thing, which has then evolved into all this, and people love the Powered by Her podcast, which started just on the radio, right? And now
it started with the radio station, and in 2021 we wanted to. That sounds weird. Are you supposed to say 2021? 2021, I don't know. And so we wanted to kind of take it a step further to reach more people and see what we could do to grow the community and inspire others. I think that the thing that's so people relate is that it's people you know.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, I've driven past CG's boutique. I've heard of Lenny and Eva Jewelry.
Right.
I've heard of these places or these people. Cookville Blow Dry and Co. I just went there this morning, and so I've been to these places, and I, you know, or I remember when she started her business. I remember when she had her grand opening. And so I think it's relatable to people because it's not, oh, that person's not in Cookeville or in Upper Cumberland. We don't know anything about them. Right. It's connections and people that they know.
Yeah. That's really cool. I love it. So this is now the 50th episode. Can you think, and I didn't ask you this before, so you may not have any thoughts, but do you have any kind of like standout moments from the show that you think might stay with you for a while? Something that somebody said or just a comment
there's definitely been a lot of great moments over the time. Just recently, Emily Blackman, who owns Root Salon, opened up about the pandemic and getting sober during the pandemic.
Oh, wow.
And it was just so genuine and so heartfelt that people want to open up their story to other people and inspire others. Or I've had people that really, Ashley Swan, who runs Food to the Rescue, she's like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to be in front of the camera. And I'm like, but what you do is so important. Yeah. And maybe somebody hears your story. And so I probably worked on her for over a year to get her in. Oh, wow. To do an interview. And I just keep telling people, it's just me and you sitting down and talking. It's not, now there's lights and cameras and microphones and stuff. But it's just me and you. At the end, like, it's easy to forget the rest of it and just kind of sit down. I hope that I kind of present a genuine me. And so I kind of just make it hopefully comfortable. You
are very genuine. I feel like I should tell people, as somebody who's known you for a long time, you are who you are.
This is it.
Which I love. So as I was getting ready for the show, I brought, this is like half my t-shirt drawer. And these are all because of Tiffany Anton. Which I just think is funny. This is our Biz Foundry shirt.
And let me just point out that these ones that I've had made.
And this was from from Select Designs, who you had on the show, right?
Select Design has been my only double interview because I had the first owners who opened it up and started it, and then they sold it to Corey Edgington, who is the current owner. Right. And so I had her come back and update it, and both are just such. Corey's could just kind of taken it a step further, but they just were so great. So most of these shirts are
and they're super soft. Thanks, Select Design.
Powered by her.
This was from the Habitat build, which your team won.
I'm a little competitive. Yeah. But Habitat approached me, and I just want to stop on that story for a second. Yeah. They approached me about a year and a half ago and said, hey, we're going to do this women's build. We want you to be a team captain. And I said, absolutely not. My word for 2020 was intentional. There's nothing intentional about me being a team leader for Habitat for Humanity. It's great. I'll donate money to you, but I'm not going to be a team leader.
Oh, that's funny.
And then I went into the meeting, and because I thought I'll be a spokesperson I'll tell other people to do it. And I went to the meeting and I thought, well, what if I have a Powered by Her team? These are all women entrepreneurs that have been a part of building their business, and they care about this community. And so I reached out to my women group, and we got maybe 12 people together. And Ashley Watt, and they didn't really know each other. Most teams were their work environment or their friends or family or what. None of them really knew each other. But I had said that if our team raised $10,000, I would host a dinner, which then the pandemic hit. So I still owe a dinner to all these women. But Ashley Waters was dead set that she wanted to win. And
she's also competitive.
Personally, my goal was to raise $1,009. So I have a 109 is my philanthropic number. Yes. In honor of my niece Josie. Yes. And so
whose shirt I also have.
You do have your which matches my tattoo.
Yeah. I know where I'm at.
So I was gonna do $1,009, and I got to my $1,000, and I thought no one else is gonna raise $1,000 per person. Ashley Waters raised like $1,200 herself. She was like, I really want Tiffany to have to cook us dinner. I think that she just was really competitive too, and so she raised the most of all the women, and it was so great to see women come together and form a community of not. This was not friends. This was not people. I mean, some of them didn't even know each other. Right. And so I love that Powered by Her is a platform that can do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of working what it's, what it's intended to do.
Way to go. I'm so proud of you. It's been neat.
I mean, probably people can feel that we have been friends, but I'm going to tell the story too of our daughters danced together when you first moved into town. Our second borns were like little babies, picking up germs from the dance center floor while they're crawling around and that stuff. But I mentioned I got the job at the Biz Foundry and we were going to make this magazine. And you said, well, if you need any editing help, and I think you meant proofreading, right?
Right.
Because
I wasn't going to come in and.
Right.
Yeah.
She wanted to proofread this magazine.
Right.
And there were maybe 4 of us that were on the project of creating this magazine. The whole time I kept thinking, if anyone knew how unqualified I was for this, I would be.
Which I felt totally the same.
I mean, you at least had done some things prior.
Jeff has a lot of faith in just throwing people out there.
I do want to say, having a boss like Jeff Brown.
Yeah.
There's times where it can frustrate me, but he has helped shape me and my career, me as a career woman, so much. It's just been really great to have a boss like that. Previous to this job, I'm not going to say where I worked, but I was doing social media, and the guy, I was a man, and he said to me, I'm going to get rid of my marketing team here. I want you to go work for this other person. They're going to do my marketing. And I said, thanks, but no thanks. That's just not where I'm at right now. And he said, well, let me just, as your exit interview, let me tell you that as a woman, with your aggression and your aggressiveness, you will get fired from lots of jobs. So you kind of need to keep it in check. And I was like, wow, I cannot believe he said and especially the fact that he said as a woman.
Yeah.
And
not just as an aggressive person, which is not you anymore.
And so a month later, I went to Jeff and I got the job and I told him the story, which I hadn't even gotten the job yet, but I said to Jeff, this is where I'm coming from. And Jeff said, well, we kind of like aggressive around here. And so I kind of knew I was home. And so I kind of found where I was supposed to be. And so the magazine we just kind of one step in front of foot in front of the other and kind of figured it out and got it done. And that's what I think. The biggest thing that I want people to understand, and you're supposed to be interviewing me, I'm just gonna...
No, this is good.
I think the biggest thing that I want people to understand is that I don't always know what I'm doing. I think I try to be really genuine and real about it, but I know I ooze confidence, but that's not really always what's going on under the surface. And so I have the same insecurities that everyone else has. I had the same. I mean, like I said, with the magazine, I was like, if anyone knew how unqualified for this I am, I'd get fired right now. I don't have any knowledge of business or knowing what I'm doing. And I had a conversation with a woman from Launch, Tennessee early on. And I said, well, I'm just, a school teacher. I don't know anything about marketing.
Yeah. And
we got off the phone call and she emailed me and said, I don't like the way you talk about yourself. And you need to realize that we're all doing the best we can and you do a great job. And so it really, this was 4 years ago. It stuck with me.
Yeah.
And I think I take that no nonsense attitude with people that I talk to. I'm always stand tall, stand proud, wear the hat that you're an entrepreneur.
Don't put yourself down or limit yourself.
Yeah. So I think, but I want people to know I talk a big game sometimes, but I have a hard time swallowing that pill myself.
Yes.
So even though I might be talking a big game to you or someone, doesn't mean that I don't, I don't understand exactly where you're at.
We all can feel that way.
Yeah.
And you push forward.
Yeah. And
you see what great things happen and come along.
Yeah.
So, well, I think we're at our time. As I'm seeing it wind down.
Okay.
So,
any other...
You're gonna have to make this an
outtake. This far a little bit.
I don't know if I'm supposed to wrap it up.
Do you want?
Or
I'll wrap it up. Is there anything else you want to say?
Is there anything else you want to say?
I'll wrap up the Powered by Her episode, but
yeah, no, I don't think so. Oh, I feel like there's a lot more that we we could talk about, but I'm just looking at the time and realizing.
I told you.
Dang it.
It's going to go by fast.
This has been really fun to be on the show.
Well, thank you for listening/watching. I'm really glad that Ashley was able to be my co-host or guest host, I guess. I really, when I was going through, I was like, who could I have do it? Could I just interview myself? Is that weird? And once the idea kind of struck for you to be the guest host, I thought there was no one more perfect for the job than you. So I'm glad that you were here and able to be sitting in the golden chair.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening, watching. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button. Find us on Instagram at Powered by Her Podcast. And follow us for more updates. Thanks.